Baby, you get your way.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Moya if you're new here. I hope you're well. Today I am filming a how I edit my Instagrams video, and in particular how I get the faux fake film camera effect on some of my photos, which a bunch of you guys have been DMing me about. So I'm here, I'm bringing the tutorial. This is just going to be a super chill video, so make sure you grab your phone, download Lightroom if you haven't already. That is the only app I use. I just use the free version, and let's just have a fun, wholesome editing session. I thought I'd start off with just showing you guys how I edit my everyday photos, because I also get questions about that and there's really not a lot to it. We go on Instagram. This is my feed at the minute. Not really a huge fan of her. We're working on it. Sometimes she gets a bit messy. Honestly, people who can have like a vaguely curated, chill yet casual feed, like, I'm so jealous. I don't know how to achieve that, but that is my goal. Aesthetics definitely impact me, but I still want my feed to be quite personal and not just like style related. Like, I want it to be like me and my life. I also like the kind of unedited look on photos. I like things quite clean and bright. I try to take my photos mostly in sunlight. That is basically it. I'm obviously screen recording all of this, so if I'm constantly looking down at my phone, I apologize. But this is my Lightroom. I usually just import all my favorite photos that I want to post. Let's open up these ones here because I'll probably be posting one of these later on this week. Let's pick this one. As you can see, like, the lighting was pretty good already. I try to take my photos in vaguely nice lighting. The main thing which I do is I go into the light section and I usually just up the shadows a bit, maybe to about 10 for this one, and then bring down the blacks so we don't lose the kind of color in my hair. Exposure and stuff is quite good on this. Sometimes I will brighten it up, and if it's really bright, I'll like bring down the highlights a little bit. So then on the color, I will usually just play around. If you go up to the little mix button, I'll usually just play around with the yellows and the oranges. Sometimes I'll bring down the saturation of the yellows, like say with a white background, I want it to be more white than yellow, so I'll bring down the saturation to about 10 and maybe up the luminance a wee bit. For oranges, sometimes I'll bring down the luminance, that's a really hard word to say. Sometimes I'll bring that down just to keep my skin looking nice and tanned, and up the saturation a little. Maybe I'll bring the reds down a bit. Okay, I like that. And maybe I'll play around with the vibrancy. That's basically it for colors. And then on effects, I'll bring down the clarity just so there's like less noise and it kind of smooths things out a bit, but not too much because you don't want to look fake. And on detail, I'll sharpen it probably up to like 25. See guys, I literally don't do anything, but that is the before and the after. That's basically how I edit all my photos. And if you go up to the little dots, you can create a preset and you can name that like everyday, and I will just copy and paste that preset basically onto all my photos. I don't really like them super edited and I want to keep them looking fresh and clean, you know. So let's get into the fun bit where I show you how I get this kind of fake film camera effect, which I've been playing around with. I can't really take credit for this. I've been watching a bunch of Lightroom tutorials, so I'll leave a few of them down below, which I find really helpful. And also, film photographers, don't come for me. Like, I understand that this is not as good as taking photos on a film camera. I try to take my point and shoot wherever I go to, like parties and traveling, and you can't beat what a film camera does naturally. This is just super fun if you like didn't have your film camera or wish you'd capture something on film or just want that effect on photos. So this is one of my favorite ones, which I made into film photo. There's the before and the after. And here's another photo which I took in Italy, and I'm going to basically copy those effects onto this one. So the first thing which I'm going to do is I'm going to go into effects and dehaze it. Now, I don't know what this means, but this is apparently what you should do. So I'll bring it down to about like 25. Then I'll also add a vignette. Vignette, that's such a fun word to say. Am I saying it right? Vignette. I'll bring that down to about 20. And of course, got to add the grain. So I'm going to bring that up to about 25. So now that the effects are done, let's go back to light. I'm just going to bring down the kind of whites and the highlights just a little bit. And I'm also going to bring down the blacks because I feel like we lost a bit of that definition in the dehazing. Dehazing sounds like a crime. Anyway, if we go up to this curve, you can play around with like the tone of the shadows and the highlights, I think. If we start with the every color one, I'm gonna bring this to the left, it kind of brightens it a little bit, and bring up the shadows just a little. And then on the green curve, I'm just gonna bring it, ooh, okay, that was quite a lot. See, like, isn't that so funny? You can literally do it. I'm gonna bring the green highlights, bring the highlights green. I'm gonna make the highlights a smidgen bit green by bringing that over just a tiny bit. And then for the blues, I'm gonna bring the shadows across. I feel like a lot of film photos have green undertones. I don't really know what I'm talking about, but yeah. So here's the before and the after so far. Let's get into the color. We're gonna fix the kind of overtly green tones by bringing up the tint a little bit. I'm also going to up the vibrancy. That looks good. And the saturation down a little bit to like 10. This photo was literally taken exactly a year ago. I've been getting all my old Italy highlights, which has been so sad. So we're gonna go back into the color mixing section. And for the reds, I'm going to up the saturation to like 15. And then the same with like luminance. And I'm kind of going to do the same for the oranges. Bring up the luminance. These words are so hard to say. Luminance. And then the saturation up to 15 as well. And yellows, I might desaturate the yellows a bit to like 10. I'm also going to bring the hue of the yellows towards the green side to like 20. It looks good. And then for the greens, I'm just going to bring down the saturation a little bit to like 10 and up the luminance. So once we're done with the colors, if we go back to effects and go up to split toning, I think this is coloring the shadows, but I'm going to make the highlights a bit more yellowy orange. I'm gonna put it, yeah, the hue at like 45 and the saturation at 8. I think we're done. This is the before and the after. Honestly, I think the main thing is just like dehazing the photo and getting those contrasts out, and then just kind of warming it up a bit and adding those green undertones. But yeah, I think that looks really good. So I'm also going to save that preset. So I'm going to go up, create a preset and call it like film photo. So whenever you copy and paste presets, you'll usually have to like play around with the temperature, lighting and colors on various photos depending on where it was taken, etc. But that should be a good basis for getting that film effect on your photos. That is basically everything I do. Feel free to tag me in your photos if you try it out. I'd love to see. And I'm obviously not a professional photo editor, I just do it for fun. I hope this video was somewhat useful, and I will be back with another video on Sunday. I just thought, because this was such a small video, I'd like throw it in during the week. Thank you so much for the love and support once again. It means the world, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
I've been feeling so